Hey everyone, it's Zahava. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at some of the most intimidating books on my TBR. And yeah, they're all there for various reasons. Maybe some of them you guys have read. Maybe some of them are intimidating for you too. So let's just get right into it and discuss the ones that I have been putting off reading just because they scared the shit out of me. And these are coming to you in no particular order, so let's get started. The first one that I have here next to me is Frank Herbert's Dune. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you're going to remember that I picked up a copy of this. It's a mass market paperback size at Librairie Clio on Independent Bookstore Day because I wanted to support an independent bookstore, but my pocketbook, it was a little bit expensive, so I had to go for something a little less expensive, and this one brand new cost $14.99 Canadian, so I went with this one because, again, I was looking at the Buffalo Hunter, and that one was somewhere around $35, so I didn't really have the money to spend at that point, so I just ended up getting this one there. But as you can see, not only does Dune have a plethora of books that follow, but it's pretty chunky in and of itself. It's coming in at just under 900 pages, and I haven't tackled a book of this thickness in a while, and I'm not sure that it would make for some very interesting reporting or how long it could possibly take me to finish. Like, it could take me months. I could potentially be at this one for months. And the danger of being at a book for so long is that I'm going to potentially get bored of it or like not really retain the storyline, which is what I find happens to me a lot. If it takes me too long to get into a book or to read a book, then I have a tendency to sort of lose interest in it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, Dune is kind of frightening me. And it's going to be kind of the same deal for Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And I'm laughing because pretty much all the books that are on this list, some of them are going to be here because they're just like super huge and close to 1,000 pages. And other ones are going to be here for reasons that you might not expect. So in the case of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, you already know, if you've been here before, that I like Susanna Clarke. Can you guys hear that? There's like a cat in the litter box. I'm not going to show her to you on camera, but, you know, anyway, I'm going to talk through it. But basically, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, again, is a super big book. This one is, coming in. So this one is coming in at about 840 pages. I'm super intimidated by this one as well because it is a book that has footnotes, and I'm not a huge fan of footnotes. Now, I should explain that I have a lot of experience with footnotes. If you guys are new here, you probably don't know this. If you're a returning subscriber, you do. But I have a bachelor's degree in English literature, and I studied mostly Victorian and Edwardian literature, and anyone who has ever taken an English class in university or college will know that the texts that you're assigned, generally speaking, have a lot of footnotes at the bottom, especially if you can get your hands on the Broadview editions of classic novels like Jane Eyre or The Monk or Maud Flanders or, some such. They will have a lot of appendices as well as a lot of footnotes, which are helpful when you want to learn more about the topics and the references that are being made contemporarily to the novel itself. But if you're trying to stick with the novel, because sometimes these novels can be super long-winded and quite boring, actually, and you have to read them in their context, right? So the footnotes, I don't know, I have a problem with footnotes because footnotes tend to take me mentally out of the plot, mentally out of the story. And so when I see books like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I can see have quite a few footnotes, it's giving me a little bit of anxiety because I DNF'd babble for the same reason. It really wasn't so much that the book was thick, because I can get behind a long book. That's not a problem for me, but the footnotes tend to distract me from what's actually happening in the story. So I'm afraid that even though I absolutely loved Piranesi, and I want to say that Piranesi maybe had some footnotes as well. I could be wrong or making it up just because I have such a case of anxiety about this one, but I just, footnotes are a very, I don't know, they're just like a very iffy thing for me. So I'm kind of afraid to read this book, both because it's got 840 pages and also because of the footnotes. I just don't want it to end up like Babel, where it's so slow paced and, just constantly trying to take me out of the story all the time. So I'm kind of low key putting this one off. The next books that I want to show you are kind of a double whammy. And these ones made the list of my most intimidating books because one of them is the second in a series of 3, and the other one is a standalone by the same authors. And they have made this list because I am still sitting on how I feel about the first one in the series. So the books that we are talking about are Assassin of Reality and Daughter from the Dark. And these are by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, the writers of Vita Nostra, which, if you guys remember, I just finished not too long ago. And I'm not exactly sure how I feel about that book. So Assassin of Reality is the second book in the trilogy. I don't know if the third book has been translated yet into English, because I know that these are translations, but this one here, it's the second in the series, and it's quite a bit shorter than Vita Nostra. Sorry if you guys can hear the airplane flight path. But because I still am processing my feelings about Vita Nostra, I don't know if I'm ready or quite ready to get into the second book of the series. And this is the type of book that I think might be sitting on my physical TBR possibly for years. Possibly for years. So yeah, I'm sitting with Vita Nostra. I have to think about it some more. It's still pretty fresh in my mind, but that's what brings Daughter of the Dark onto this list as well, because it's written by the same authors. And while it might not follow the same storyline as Vita Nostra, and in fact, I have no idea what this book is about. I just bought it because I saw it on Book Outlet from the same authors, and I just wanted to, I'd heard so many good things about Vita Nostra that I basically bought it blind. I went in blind, and I don't know if that was a good choice or not, honestly, because I gotta say, like, Vita Nostra, it's just like, it's like the kind of book that you don't really understand the sentence that you're reading. So you read the next sentence, and then you read the next sentence, and then you read the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then before you know it, you've gotten to the end of the book, and you're like, whoa, what just happened? So that's pretty much the reason that these two are on my most intimidating books list, because I'm still reeling from having finished Vita Nostra and not disliking it, but not fully understanding it or what it was meant to be, if that makes sense. So anyway, these two, very intimidating books for me, despite the fact that they are not chonkers. The next one that is a chonker is going to be The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Now, this is on the most intimidating books list for 2 reasons. No, not 2, more than 2, more than 2. Not the least of which is, of course, the size, but also because it's the first in a series, and also because so many booktubers have already read it. So not only am I coming super late to the game, but when I see the bookshelves and backgrounds of some of my favorite YouTubers. Fina Reads, I think, I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure I've seen this book on her shelves. I know Library of a Viking has read this. I'm pretty sure that there's like a million other people. I know Books with Emily Fox. Emily has probably read this. There's so many people out there that have read this book and loved it. And I am late to the game. I'm late to the game, you guys. So it's kind of the thing where people have praised Islington's writing so well, especially because of The Will of the Many, which also, spoiler, is on this list. So might as well just talk about both of them at the same time. Here we go. James Islington. I am terrified to read these books because I'm pretty sure they're just going to take me like forever to read. I'm late to I must be the only booktuber that has not read The Will of the Many. The fact that I even have it on my TBR and haven't read it yet is shameful. But again, I know it's book 1 of a series. This is book 1 of a series. I'm starting to wonder if this author knows how to write anything short. And also because when you have a big epic fantasy series like this one, I'm always very dubious about series that are completed in the first book. I like when a series leads you into the second book, which then leads you into the third and hopefully conclusive version of the series. Robin Hobb does that really well. John Gwynne does that really well. And I'm hoping that Islington will do that as well. But I've never read his work before, so I don't know how he writes, and I just, these are close to 700 pages. The last time that I read a book that was this big was The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, and I did not like that book, you guys. I was so let down by that book. So when I get to books like this and I don't know if the ending is going to lead me into the next one, I get kind of scared, honestly. And the reason that I have this objection is because when books are conclusive in the first part of a trilogy, it doesn't leave me wanting to read the next one. And sometimes it could be just the publisher bullying the author into writing something else for the sake of sales. And then it just takes away so much from the craft itself, from the story, from the art of it, and from its quality, in the end. So I hope that what I'm saying makes sense. So when I see books like this, I just get like absolutely terrified. Terrified of like potential disappointment and potentially disappointing you guys as well, because these books have been so well received. I feel I still am kicking myself for putting down Babel, or for like admitting to being bored with it, So I don't know. It's an alienating thing. The next book that made it onto this list has made it onto this list for the exact same reasons as The Shadow of What Was Lost, and that is The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Now, it's not so big in terms of the size of it. This is a trade paperback format. It's still coming in at about 700 pages. I think they printed it on Bible thin pages to get 700 pages into something that's like 1.25 inches thick. But yeah, so this is on the list for a few reasons. One, because I don't know if I have it in me to read 14 books. Two, because there is the book to screen adaptation. And three, what if I don't like it? What if I don't like it? I started out reading epic fantasy by reading a lot of Terry Brooks, Terry Goodkind, David Eddings. So that's how I spent a lot of my 20s and early 30s, going through a lot of those authors and their backlists, along with Elizabeth Hayden and Jacqueline Carey and some, and before there was BookTube, or before I was sensitized to the bookish community online, I would sort of go along my own journey and read. If I found an author that I liked, it was really, or a story or a world that I felt I could relate to, I would read up a lot of the author's backlist without even trying new authors. And so at that point, I would go to the bookstore and see so many authors with so many books out, and Robert Jordan was one of them. And I was terrified to pick up a book from this series because there were already so many that I felt it was a mountain that I just couldn't climb. And now I'm kind of feeling with a book to screen adaptation, if I can get through one book, there's absolutely no reason for me to feel an obligation to continue. I stopped reading A Song of Ice and Fire after book 4, book 5, and I did not feel after the Game of Thrones screen adaptation wrapped up that it was necessary for me to continue with the novels. I don't know if I lost interest or got lazy. Clementine is here again on camera trying to get her 15 minutes. So I don't know if I just got lazy with Game of Thrones, but I, as I've said before on the channel, found that the series had a pretty satisfactory ending, and I consider my time in that world closed. I don't need to go on with that series, and I'm just afraid that if I start the Wheel of Time screen adaptation, that I will get to a point of apathy about the series, and so yeah, it's just like I'm making mountains out of molehills, basically, which is my specialty. So yeah, this book made it onto this list of my most intimidating books that I don't know. I will choose any other book but this one. I'm trying to stabilize the pile here. The next book that made it onto this list is Cage of Souls by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Now, if you guys know me at all, you will know that Adrian Tchaikovsky is one of my absolute favorite writers. He is a god tier writer for me, but he is really long-winded, really long-winded. So I have read The Tiger and the Wolf most recently from Tchaikovsky. I loved The Dogs of War. I think that there's a different voice between Tchaikovsky's sci-fi and his fantasy, and I've read both. And I liked the sci-fi that I read from him better so far, because I think it's more succinct. It's not as verbose. The fantasy that I read from Tchaikovsky has been very, like, almost longer than it needed to be, in my opinion. And I actually went down the rabbit hole of the Goodreads reviews of this novel. And again, it lost a lot of people because of its verbosity. And I just don't want to get disinterested. I fear that I may get disinterested in this book because of its long-windedness and because of other people's opinions of having lost interest in it because it was so wordy. So I think I'm low-key kind of avoiding picking this one up, even though it's an author that I absolutely love. And of course, the cover of this book is absolutely stunning and is quite literally the reason that I picked it up, or at least that my eye was drawn to it. And then when I saw it was Tchaikovsky, because sometimes I just see the cover first and then register the author afterward, then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm definitely going to pick this one up. Plus, this is one of them that I picked up at that cute little mobile bookshop that I went to a few weeks back. And so yeah, I'm just really happy about that. The cover is a super nice green. It's like jewel tone and it makes me really happy. But at the same time, I'm kind of avoiding picking this one up. The Grace of Kings is a book that I picked up at a thrift store. Now, I have a few Ken Liu books. I have one which is Hidden Girl and Other Stories, which is an anthology of short stories. I haven't gotten to it yet. I've heard a lot of good things about this writer, but again, it is a bit of a chonker that is the first in a series. I also have The Three-Body Problem, which I know he didn't write, but he did translate. So I don't know. You know, I have no experience with Liu's writing, either of anything that he's written himself or of anything that he's translated. So I think I'm in the middle of so many series that starting another one feels like super intimidating to me, especially when it's an author that is so well received, so well talked about, so well known. And I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind on these things. So I did want to read it. It was definitely on my list. I found it at the thrift store and I couldn't believe my luck, but at the same time, I'm kind of low-key putting it off. So, yeah. Let me know if you guys think this is one that I am making like a big deal out of for no reason, so that I can feel a little bit better and maybe a little less scared to read it. Same thing for Jade City. This is another one that Fonda Lee, same as Ken Liu, everyone loves her. I've never read an Asian-inspired high fantasy before, so I'm a little bit scared that because of my exposure to mostly medieval type settings and also American frontier, like when you read Robin Hobb's Live Ship Traders, that's sort of the vibe that you get from that novel. And of course, if you guys have been here a minute, you will know that Robin Hobb has absolutely ruined fantasy for me and probably quite a few of you as well. So when people talk about other authors that they really get into and really, really like, especially when they're female authors, I tend to get a little like worried because maybe Fonda Lee has been talked up so much that because again, it's that Samantha Shannon problem for me. Everyone talks about her books as if they're fantastic. And like, frankly, maybe I'm just not the audience for them. And I've only ever read The Priory of the Orange Tree, which could be that it's not her best work. Like, I understand The Bone Season I think that's her stuff, right? Anyway, she has that other series out there that there's like 5 or 6 books and she keeps like pumping them out, and Samantha Shannon is just not for me. Like, I feel she's got a lot of characters that really don't need to be there, and there's no sense of urgency, and there's no, I don't know, I really did not like Priory of the Orange Tree. so when people talk up other authors and then the expectation is built so high in my head that I'm terrified that it won't live up, that the book won't live up to the hype, and that's where I kind of backpedal a little bit. So I have a copy of Jade City. I want to read it. I really do. But I'm terrified. Okay, so now I'm going to slap the wrist of a fellow booktuber who has been nothing but a thorn in my side and a pain in my ass and a dent in my wallet since I found her channel. And I feel very comfortable saying this online because I know she's amazing and she's gonna take it really well. But Fina, you are a pain in my ass, okay? If you are watching this, and I want you to know why, okay? Because Fina has suggested on one of her videos, I don't know, maybe last year, probably in 2024 when I first found her channel, which I will absolutely link to down below in the description if you guys do not know Fina of Fina Reads, who is a friend of mine. I guess we could say, we chat on our video comments and a little bit on Instagram, but so here's the thing. Fina is the queen of supporting independent authors, interviewing them on BookTube, supporting their work, going to the festivals, buying their work and everything. And she had suggested picking up this sci-fi first in a duology called Aestus. And this is by S.Z. Atwell, or Z, I guess, if you're in the States. And this is one of 2. Now, the author kind of low-key disappeared off the planet. I don't know what happened. There were hardly any copies of this book available. I picked it up. I think I paid like $40 for it. The second book in the series, which is, so the book one is Aestus the City, and book two is Aestus the Colony. And that one, there's only like one copy available for sale on this planet right now, and it's $150. And not having read this one, I just don't want to take the plunge and spend $150 on the second one unless I know I'm absolutely going to love it. Now, what I do know, what I've been able to gather, is that Atwell kind of like did a major clearance sale. I don't know if it was in 2023 or 2024. I could have my dates wrong, but she, I guess, wanted for some reason to disappear from the public eye, and she liquidated all of her books at something like 99 cents US. Which is crazy. And now you cannot find them. You can't find the books anywhere. And because I follow Fina and a lot of her suggestions have led me to buying books that I haven't read yet, but that look super interesting to me, I did go and track this one down because, I don't know, there's something, Fina, if you're watching this, about the way that you promote your books with such fervor that is just, I don't know, like, you're like the worst influencer. You're so bad. I spend so much money because of you. So yeah, this is one that I picked up because Fina suggested to pick it up, and I'm just afraid that I'm really gonna love it, and then I'm gonna go and have to spend $150 on the second one. So I've kind of, because I've not been able to find the second one in the duology at a reasonable price, I've kind of been putting off reading this one, which I don't really think is fair to the book. So yeah, like this is one that, especially because Fina says it's so good, you know, so like, I'm kind of putting this one off because I don't really want a $150 dent in my wallet, or worse than that, I'll never be able to find the second one. So like, what I don't know probably won't hurt me. It's why I haven't cracked this one open yet. The second to last book on this list is going to be The House in the Cerulean Sea. Now you guys are going to say, whoa, why, Zahava, is this book on the list? And it's on the list because there's really no good reason. A viewer suggested that I should read it. I took it out of the library, didn't read it. I found it at a thrift store for $1. $2? I think I paid $1. I don't know if I'm interested in reading this book. I think that I have it because it's a popular book, because it's been influenced upon me. I don't know if I would have gravitated toward it myself if I hadn't heard about it on BookTube and Bookstagram in the bookish community. I'm quite sure that I never would have picked it up. I'm not sure it's a book that I would have gone for. I can't exactly tell you why, and I feel kind of backed into a corner, honestly. I feel backed into a corner. So I've been putting it off because, again, it's a book that I'm afraid I just won't like. So I don't know. I don't know why. I don't have a logical reason for this, but it's just a book that I have been, if I'm looking to start a new book because I finished a book and I'm looking to start another one, I will pretty much go anywhere except this one. So what can I say? And then the last book that is really intimidating me, which if you guys have been around for some of my more recent videos, you will probably understand why this book has made this list and why I've left it to the end. Because even for a video about my most intimidating books on my physical TBR, this one was so intimidating, I didn't even want to talk about it until now. And that is The Fifth Elephant by Terry Pratchett. And it is because I had to DNF Snuff. And because I didn't like Snuff, I don't want to read this. I'm like terrified it's going to be boring, and I'm terrified that I will lose time and not be able to get my time back if I don't like it. And also because there's this huge stigma surrounding Terry Pratchett's genius, and while I'm not debating that, I just don't know if I'm the reader for his novels. So I don't want to completely condemn an author based on a work that could potentially not have been his best or strongest. I think Snuff was like book number 38 or 39 in a series of 42 books of Discworld. So maybe it just wasn't the strongest one in the series, and maybe there are better ones. I heard that Mort is fantastic. I know that the series of The Witches is also supposed to be really good. But this is a Discworld novel. I don't know. I had such a bad experience with Snuff, you know, like, it's not that the writing wasn't funny or clever. I am a huge fan of British comedy. I will choose a British comedy. You give me anything like Fawlty Towers or Keeping Up Appearances or To the Manor Born and Waiting for God even, and I will just laugh that up because it is so, it's British comedy really resonates with me. So, you know, I like something that's very, very clever, and this is without a doubt, his writing is clever, but Snuff was so slow and there was so no plot happening because at the expense of trying to make the reader laugh or think or, you know, so I don't know, maybe it's a mood thing. Maybe I wasn't in the right mood when I picked that up, or maybe I felt rushed to finish it because I did borrow it from the library. So there were a lot of variables at play when I picked that one up, and I think that I might be potentially unfairly judging this one because of my bad experience with the one and only other Terry Pratchett book that I read. So yeah, this is it, guys. This is the list of the most intimidating books on my physical TBR right now, but it is by no means comprehensive. I'm sure that if I had spent more than 3.5 minutes trying to source these books for you before starting to film today, I probably could have found more, but I think that this video is probably long enough. It's got a nice variety of books that you guys can slap my wrists about in the comments. If you guys like this video, please make sure to go ahead and hit that little like button. If you want to just let me know that you were here, you could leave me a little book emoji in the comments. And I also wanted to remind you guys before I go of a couple of things which I chronically forget to tell you every time I'm filming a video, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do that now. I have a new Instagram page which you could follow me for more candid life real-time updates on what I'm reading, and I think that the link to that will be somewhere around my YouTube channel if it's not in the description down below. And also, if you guys want to feed my very unhealthy book buying habit, there is a link down below to Book Outlet. I'm not affiliated with them. It's just a coupon code that you could help support this channel and my book buying by clicking on that link. And also you would get a $5 off coupon for yourself. So that's fun. Anyway, that's it for the self-promotion. Thank you guys so much if you are still here. I really appreciate you coming back every time, and I am gonna go get changed and set up to film another video because that's what I'm gonna be doing today, serially filming videos for you so that you have what to watch in the month of June. And I love you all so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.